Do you even realize what is happening in the crypto markets right now? The bull market is here, and this chart tells us something really significant. We can see something picking up, something going on that no one else is talking about. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the projects that will be exploding onto the scene in the next 2 years, how to find them, what they are, how to research them, and so much more. Hit that like button. Let's get into it. Now, guys, what's that chart we've been talking about? Well, over here, DeFiLlama.com, and it's a free website, guys, you'll love to know, is this, the Fundraising Overview. Now, what we can see from this chart is something very interesting. During bull markets, the fundraising runs a little bit behind the actual pricing of the market. Why is that? Well, lots of investment firms in crypto have a bunch of money sat around in like Ethereum, Bitcoin, etc. And when those prices increase, they then suddenly have a surplus of cash. They take that money and they invest it into brand new ICOs, which is exactly what we should be doing. And I can show you how you can do that too and make the most of astronomical gains slightly later on. Now, we can see a little bit of a pickup in activity. Back in November, we saw $719 million being raised for new projects. At the top of the last bull market, that was $7 billion, 10x bigger than where we are right now, okay? But you can see back in October 2020, similar kind of stats and figures appeared, and then we started to build into something interesting. Now, what we need to know is projects that launch around here and fundraising around here will be launching into the bull market, and we can see the most potential gains if we can buy them at the right time. And if you scroll down on this raises page for DeFi Llama, then you can find some useful information here. You can see all the projects that were raising money over the last few years, and there is a lot of them. But let's have a look at what was really raising money around that October of 2020 time that may be worth paying attention for us. And you can see here, Injective Protocol, Mina, a bunch of projects right now are exploding and everyone is talking about, were launching just before that bull market. This is where we can see the next potential for growth, okay? Because if we can find these projects, not just these every crappy pre-sale that everyone's talking about, and understand which projects were actually raising decent capital before, then we can understand what they had going on for them and what's going on in the next cycle right now. So how do we find out who's been raising right now? We'll go across to cryptofundraising.info, okay? Then what we're going to do is click on a VC, a deal flow. Now, this is very important, guys. And I've used this website a lot for a very good reason. These projects that are raising money, big capital right now, are going to be launching in the next 6 to 12 months. And if you've been subscribed to this channel for a while now, then you'll understand this. What we're trying to do right now is make our money in the likes of Solana, Injective, Avalanche, the bigger market cap coins. People are getting distracted by like this shit coin and this meme coin. But ultimately, guys, your goal is to kind of grow yourself 5, maybe a 10x. And you should have been doing that through this year so that when we get to the point at which some of these projects are launching, we can go absolutely ham on them. Now, through December, a bunch of projects have been raising. And some of these projects you will see are already on the market, okay? Pith Network, for example. Okay, Theta Network. What we're looking for is these ones in sort of seed rounds, okay? Seed round means it's before we get launched on ICOs. And some of these projects have been raising serious capital. Now, if you want to know like which projects are getting launched all the time, you can go to cryptorank.io and you can click on upcoming IDO ICOs. And this will tell us all the projects that are about to launch. Now, something important to know. There's this kind of like risk to reward ratio that everyone keeps talking about. They're like, oh, this has got a tiny market cap. There's loads of gains to see there. There's a problem with this mentality. When you're going after smaller market caps, the chances of them actually doing anything at all is much less. I would rather make a 5-10x than have a shot at making a 50x and make nothing, okay? Because I know if I'm going to go bigger, then I want to be getting into the kind of those projects that are guaranteeing me growth. We're looking for guaranteed growth over these next couple of years. 2 years is a long time if you can consistently find growth, guys. Now, what you can see if you come down through this list, some of these projects are raised like 140 grand, okay? 400 grand, 300 grand. And like, you know, that's still an okay amount of money, guys, but you know, it's not really going to get them anywhere, okay? These projects, they then have to absolutely dig out blind to try and get themselves noticed at all, because 80 grand isn't going to get you any marketing, isn't really going to get you on any YouTube channels, isn't going to get you on anything, okay? So these projects are going to really struggle to get going unless they can kind of luckily and sort of scramble together some sort of a community, okay? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Subquery, 24.5 million. Now we're talking, okay? Projects need big capital to keep funding themselves to grow and deliver and get their marketing on the table. So what we can see coming down through this list is a bunch of different projects that are definitely worth looking into. And you can see that there is a lot of these new projects coming about that have been raising some serious money, okay? $7 million here, or here, Wormhole, $225 million. Now that just brings me on to another point. So coins like Wormhole may be on the other side of the spectrum. They're kind of a bit too big, okay? Yeah, they're going to be important in the future, but I'm not going to see much in return on these guys because the valuation $2 billion. You're not going to see like 10, 20, 50x, particularly anytime quickly from those kind of valuations. So where we're looking into the MEXC, you can look into MEXC Finance. He got a project that raised $50 million. Okay, important. And you can go through these and understand basically where the kind of markets are heading, because all of this stuff, all of this money being raised for these projects are telling us where crypto is going into the future. Now, I talked about Inspect on the channel a few months ago, and it was actually available in a pre-sale. Now, why would you want to get involved in pre-sale? Well, because Inspect, if you got in on it on a pre-sale, then you would have been able to pick it up down here at like 12 cents. And after that, literally on launch, it does pretty much a 20x in like a single day. Now, you can make money on ICOs and initial coin offerings, and there are some really good ICOs, particularly if you time them right in the market. But really, the only way to get in as early as possible into these like seed rounds is through one of two different ways. And the first way you can do is through launchpads. Now, what's a launchpad? Now, launchpads are really useful things. Now, if you're a new project, you need to do a few different things. You need to gain users. You need to sell out pre-sales. You need to gain some income. You need to raise some money so that you can pay for, your team and all that good stuff. And of course, you need the marketing. This is really difficult for projects to grow, no matter how great the tech is, unless they've got the marketing side of things nailed down. It's expensive to go through marketing with KOLs on YouTube, etc. It's expensive to do all kinds of different marketing. Now, if a project doesn't have enough funds, they can't do the marketing, but a launchpad will do it for them. You go to a launchpad, the launchpad will have some of your project as payment for representing them. Now, what they'll do is they'll go and research the project. The launchpad will understand everything about the project, which is good because it gives us the protection that we're not investing in something crap. The launchpad protects us. Now, what we can then do is we can go to the launchpad, we can invest some funds in the launchpad, and that will enable us to participate in some sales. So, how do I find out some good launchpads? Well, I can go to IDO, ICO, and I can click on IDO, Launchpad, ROI. Now here you can see down below the average return on investment from launchpads. Now, Seedify, Engine Starter, some of these names you've probably known because I've brought you various videos on them over the last few months. I talked about Seedify a while back. I did another one the other day where I talked about Decubate. Now guys, launchpads have a hugely successful process. So launchpads themselves are interesting investments potentially because you can see they have incredible returns on their investments. Now, clicking on DAO Maker, for example, which is one of the biggest, you can come down below and you can see various different projects and stuff that they've invested in, but also you can see some of their stats. Now, the current average return on investment from projects in DAO Maker is 1.47, but the all-time high average return on investment is here, 31x. So it means, on average, if you're able to invest in DAO Maker projects, you will make 31x. Why is this? Well, because pre-ICO, the prices are always massively cheap compared to ICO because there's a higher risk of getting in earlier. Now, because typically projects want to encourage new users to come and join in, okay? So they make the prices significantly cheaper to get you all on board. And then you have the ICO, the initial coin offering, where people will get maybe a discounted rate, but still normally much higher. Now, to be involved in a launchpad, such as DAO Maker, there's a few others, Seedify, etc. This is not sponsored by any of these guys. You can go check out any different one you want. Some of them come with better benefits than others. DAO Maker has a bigger kind of hit, right? Because it's bigger. It's got some of the better projects coming on board, such as Tenet, which you saw earlier this year, and a few others. It had Inspect. Now, because of this, it's harder to get involved. What you do is you need to hold some of their native tokens, and then you hold a bunch of their native tokens, and then you can invest in projects. However, often it's very expensive. You need like $1,000 or $2,000 staked of their token to be able to buy like $20 or $30 of a pre-sale. Would I do it? Well, yeah, it's probably still worthwhile because remember, it averages 31x. 31x on $10 is $310. 31x on $20 is like $600. Is it worth it? Probably, okay? But it's a bit of a pain in the ass to have to stake a bunch of coins for a while in order to be able to get involved in projects. And there's no guarantee that any project will do as much as this or more. And to be honest, I would have a strategy like I'm going to invest in every single one that they launch. Now, it's important to understand the power of launchpads. Launchpads will continue to do well this year, I think. Seedify, I've seen already having a great year. I think Decubate is going to have a very good one as well. Make sure you can check these out, guys. And all of the ones on the list down below are very interesting indeed. But let's say we found a project on here that we are interested in. Now, what we can do first of all is look on the right-hand side at investors. We can find companies that have got a good past with various different projects. Here, for example, Coinbase Ventures. Pretty obvious that Coinbase Ventures will do well, mainly because they're going to get listed on Coinbase, which is pretty easy. Okay, so all I'm going to do is quickly show you what I would do when I find a new project that might be of interest. Now, what might be of interest to me? Well, I'm looking for something in a particular niche that might be of interest. Now, there's various different niches we know that we think might do well, but personally, I think the GameFi is going to be a great category to be paying attention to. So I drop down the categories. I'm going to come down through and I'm going to find GameFi projects or gaming. Now here we can see a bunch of them in gaming. At the top we've got Maple Story Universe, $100 million raised. Nice to see. Come down through Mochaverse. Okay, now something to pay attention to here. Mochaverse, I would imagine, is something to do with Animoca Brands. Animoca Brands is the biggest investor in GameFi projects. Now you can go down through, guys, find a different project, go and read into it, understand a little bit about the white paper. Once you get the white paper, literally you can copy and paste it into Claude, which I've showed you multiple times how to do before. And you can ask for pros and cons on the white paper and just understand that in general. But ultimately, bigger projects that are raising like $10 million plus, it's worth paying attention to what they are, giving them a follow on Twitter, and then eventually you might have a pre-sale. You can take the profits you've been making out of the big caps, etc., and put it into those pre-sales. And that's where you're going to see a lot of growth. Now, guys, I haven't talked about this for a while, but I want to talk about it right now. The Inner Circle, which is linked down below, just $9.99 per month. We are raising every single month now for around 3 or 4 different crypto projects. In the last year, we've raised for projects such as Layer Zero, we've raised for likes of Fuel, Eclipse, and some other absolute monsters in the game. We've been raising alongside Binance Labs, who average 182x to all-time high. And you, for just $9.99, rather than being in like the pre-sales on Launchpads, etc., and be involved in pre-sales. You don't need to hold tokens in order to participate in our pre-sales. It literally costs you $9.99 per month to go through the link down below in the description and join up, and then you can have access to pre-sales alongside some monster companies. Now, not only that, but within the Inner Circle, you'll also join a passionate community of crypto investors. You'll get various different technical analysis breakdowns of all the stuff that's going on. You can do things like wallet tracking and lots of other bits and pieces. I also, apart from this week where I've been a bit sick, also add in a short video about what I'm looking at each day and just some tips and tricks on what's going on, as well as some various insights on what I'm looking at. Previously tipped off everyone about the breakouts that we're getting from Solana, ICP, etc. So if you've been in this, guys, you could have caught all those moves for just $9.99 per month and participated in all the pre-sales. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that very short little video today. Obviously, subscribe. I'll bring in more depth in the next few videos I make about how to get involved in pre-sales and all that good stuff. But still a little bit sick. Right now, it's Christmas Eve. I know this is going to air on Boxing Day, so I hope you had a wonderful Christmas wherever you are. Hit the like button, subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.